Welcome. This is Jean Eaton of Information Managers. It is my honor and pleasure to be with you today at Practice Management Nuggets. This is a weekly interview series with practice managers, healthcare providers, or trusted vendors who support healthcare practices. Our topics help primary care practice managers, providers, and owners to implement, maintain, or improve their business and practice administration so that healthcare providers can focus on providing quality healthcare services. I am your host, Jean Eaton, the Practice Management Mentor with Information Managers. Today's guest is Brad Haynes, a RenderMan. Brad is a Canadian-born and raised hacker and computer security consultant who says he spends way too much time figuring out ways of inserting electronics into treasured childhood toys. Brad has written a book called The 7 Deadliest Wireless Technology Attacks, and is a frequent keynote speaker in the security industry in North America. Brad is the chief researcher of RenderLab.net and operates his own consulting company in Edmonton, Alberta, providing wireless performance and security assessment services to a variety of clients, both large and small. I'm pleased to have Brad Haynes with us here to help us understand the risks of using wireless networking and practical suggestions on how to mitigate those risks and what to look for when hiring technical help to install a wireless network. So Brad and I met when we were both working for POSP in Alberta, and I know that Brad has assisted many clinics in assessing their wireless networking systems. So Brad, I'm delighted to have you with us today.
I'm glad to be here.
Hey, this is going to be an interesting 30 minutes. I'm looking forward to having you here. So, Brad, tell us your story. How did you get involved in doing wireless networking and consulting?
Basically, when wireless networking was first making it big in the consumer realm, I had attended a talk at a conference called DEF CON, where a gentleman had talked about how people were setting these things up, but making them very insecure. He basically developed a technique called war driving, which involved driving around with a laptop that listened for these signals and noted down the locations on GPS where these were. So you're able to build maps and get an idea of the amount of networks in an area. I started doing this around Edmonton and just was amazed at the amount of stuff that was out there and the amount of stuff that was highly insecure. So, being a good person that I am, I've done the best I can to try to raise awareness of this issue and let people know that they're doing things wrong. So hence why I'm also here.
And we're glad to have you. It always amazes me about the uncertainty that people have about whether or not people are going to be interested in their networks. Why should I care? I'm just a little guy on the street. Why should I care about whether or not my wireless network is secure or I use passwords or all those other things that we encourage people to use? Do you have any stories that can encourage us to make sure that we're looking after our business?
Well, the major thing is that everyone always has that attitude that you mentioned of, why, what's the interest in me? Well, it could be that, bad guy, lives right across the street from you. You're an easy target. Or there's something interesting about your business that interests them. Or you could just be a hopping off point for them to do something. They may not necessarily be interested in the information you have, but, if you're a bad guy and wanting to do something nefarious around the world, connecting to some random person's wireless network, all the traffic and everything would route back to them, so all the tracks would basically end at that person, and you can drive away and never be seen again. So suddenly now you've got police knocking on your door because someone launched an attack from your home or your business, and you've got a lot of uncomfortable questions to answer.
Absolutely, and take a lot of time and inconvenience. So, Brad, what would be your number one tip to a business owner in healthcare in particular about if we can't do anything else today, what is the number one tip, the most important thing that we should be doing about our wireless network?
Understanding them, because so many people will buy them, open up the box, plug it in, hey, look, it works, and continue from there. Unfortunately, actually, to their credit, a lot of the manufacturers have gotten better in their documentation, where security is no longer, in Chapter 6 in the little book. It's right up front, and they not necessarily force, but highly encourage. Some of the earlier units certainly did not do that. The major thing is to understand that with wireless, because it's a shared medium, because it's a radio, anyone else can be potentially listening in. And understanding that, you want to take steps to make sure that only the people that you want to be able to listen in are able to do that. And that's usually with things like encryption and knowing that the different levels and strengths, and just in general keeping up with the news out there as to what vulnerabilities are available. There's just a whole rash of them, of vulnerabilities found in a bunch of consumer routers that have been a whole bunch of bad things have been happening to those.